Welcome to a new episode of Plots We Have at Home, where we come up with the most unhinged story prompts on this side of the Atlantic and make ChatGPT do the hard work and make sense of it.
Or not. We read the stories out loud, and it's always the first time for both of us hearing them, so you get our unfiltered reactions.
I'm John.
And I'm Danny.
And let's dive right into our first story.
Okay. I will read the first story of today, and today's topic is Hollywood. So it's gonna be glamorous, I'm very sure.
Most definitely.
Okay, I will roll over here and see if I can read this text. Okay. Wow. Why? Okay.
I'm glad you're having fun already, though.
Okay. Fast and the Furious 12. Furiously fast. Hollywood havoc. On a sweltering day in Hollywood, the sun bore down on the bustling studio lot where the next installment of the Fast and the Furious franchise, Fast and the Furious 12 Furiously Fast, was being filmed. The director and leading actor, Vin Diesel, was late returning to set after lunch, and the tension was thick as the crew waited impatiently. As the clock continued to tick, the legendary Danny Trejo?
Trejo? I think Trejo.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry for mispronouncing names.
I mean, if you don't see it coming, then how would you know?
Yeah. Who portrayed the menacing villain Diego Escobar? Why load it so much? Yeah, from your reaction, I'm just guessing that you didn't pick the villain name.
Who knows?
Who portrayed the menacing villain Diego Escobar, paced back and forth in this menacing character attire. Everything is very menacing about him. Tattoos glistening.
That's how he be.
He couldn't help but feel irritated. Vin Diesel's tardiness was getting under his skin. "Where is that man?" Danny muttered to himself. Just as Danny was about to head to Vin Diesel's trailer, the growl of a powerful engine broke the silence. Vin Diesel roared onto the set in a black Dodge Charger, tires screeching. He emerged from the car, his muscular frame glistening with sweat. Wow.
That's how he'd be doing.
Next sentence. "Sorry, folks, traffic was a nightmare," Vin explained, not a hint of apology in his voice. Trejo, his eyes burning with fury, stormed over to Vin. "You think you can just show up whenever you please, huh?" Vin Diesel raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. "Got a problem, Danny?" The tension between the two Hollywood heavyweights reached a boiling point, and within moments, fists were flying, echoing across the lot. Vin's deep voice rumbled with intensity as they exchanged blows. Meanwhile, the crew members, including Jason Statham as the cameraman, Dwayne Johnson as the boom guy, and Michelle Rodriguez as the stunt coordinator, watched the chaos unfold with a mix of shock and amusement. Amidst the chaos, Vin managed to gain the upper hand and pinned Danny to the ground.
Of course he does.
"You want to know what this movie's about? Fine!" Vin struggled to catch his breath as he described the plot of Fast and the Furious 12. Why? Is that his ultimate torture now? to explain the plot of this movie?
I guess so.
Furiously fast. "In this one, we reunite the whole family. Dom, Brian, Letty, Roman, Ted, and more. We're going undercover in an international heist operation run by a crime syndicate that races high-performance cars in space."
In space.
Machete kills again in space. Meets furiously fast, I guess.
I don't know if they already made it to space with Fast and the Furious or if it's taking that just out of nowhere, but
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised either way.
The crew, oh my god. The crew exchanged bewildered glances. I love that nobody knew what this film was gonna be about when they were on set.
But I assume that the leading actor and director, Vin Diesel, played his cards very close to his chest.
So he's also the writer then, because that has not been mentioned before, just saying.
We haven't confirmed yet that the movie has been written.
Oh wait, there's more now, by the way. The crew exchanged bewildered glances. Vin continued. We're stealing a top secret weapon capable of controlling weather, but the only way to escape the syndicate is to execute two of the most daring and ridiculous stunts ever. He described the stunts in detail. We're going to launch a rocket car into orbit, then parachute out and land on the International Space Station to steal the device. We'll race against a tornado in the Sahara Desert with our cars fitted with wings and rockets to keep us ahead of the Twister.
How is that gonna help anybody?
Okay. We don't know yet. He cannot,
He won't
give
spoil
away
it.
the whole movie.
Sorry, otherwise you guys won't go to cinema to watch Fast and the Furious 12.
Furiously fast. Okay. As Vin Diesel, also just before I continue, I want to remind everyone of the fact that he explains all of this while pinning Danny Trejo down to the ground after a fist fight.
Because he came back late from lunch.
And he was the one who came back late. As Vin Diesel elaborated on these over-the-top stunts... Sorry, I totally blacked out for a moment. It was like, Tom Cruise would totally do those.
I mean, yes, he would. Tom Cruise would just fly to the ISS just for making a movie. Yeah.
Mission Impossible 12. Impossible mission.
Fuck, now you stole my next prompt.
Okay, sorry. I will continue reading now. As Vin Diesel elaborated on these over-the-top stunts, a screeching engine noise interrupted him. A car drifted dangerously close to the crew, sending them scattering in all directions. It was a sleek black Mercedes AMG, expertly maneuvered by none other than German TV chef and the newest addition to the franchise, Steffen Hensler.
Moin.
Ja, moin! I did not see that coming. I just saw that. I just saw German TV and I was like, oh my god, who's it gonna be? Steffen stepped out of the car, bewildered but unharmed, after executing this stunt, I guess. I'm here for my big Hollywood debut. I heard there's a role for a villain. Okay. Vin Diesel sighed, shaking his head. Not now, Steffen. But Steffen was undeterred. Please, Vin, I'll do anything to be in this movie. I can cook a 5-star meal right here if you want. Oh, you fucking can't. I'll prepare you sushi with sushi on sushi. Vin Diesel exchanged a glance with Michelle Rodriguez, who smirked. I've got an idea. Steffen Hensler was dragged into the impromptu scene and headed a frying pan by Michelle. You want a role in this movie? Prove your worth.
What's gonna happen now?
I don't know. As Steffen begged for his life and his part in the film, Vin Diesel took the frying pan from Steffen and, with a dramatic swing, flung it at the ground. The frying pan ricocheted, deftly flipping a pancake high into the air. Vin caught the pancake mid-air with his bare hand, and the crew erupted into cheers. I am not sure what is happening right now. I really, really don't understand.
I have no fucking clue what's going on.
Just read on. That's some Fast and the Furious action right there, as Jason Statham exclaimed, a grin on his face.
I guess so.
Steffen Hensler, still trembling, accepted the pancake flipping initiation, and the crew welcomed him with open arms. Okay. As the chaos subsided and the crew members returned to their positions, Vin Diesel concluded, remember folks, it's all about family, and this movie is going to be furiously fast. And with that, the cameras rolled, capturing the chaos and camaraderie, oh yeah, there we are again, that were the hallmarks of the Fast and the Furious franchise, even on and off the set in Hollywood.
What?
He just goes, what? And it's his story.
Okay. So,
First impressions. What the hell is the pancake initiation? I also kind of didn't really understand what happened. I first thought Stefan Hensler was gonna do a stunt with a frying pan. Then I thought Vin Diesel was gonna hit him with the frying pan, and he was like begging for his life and the role, whatever. But then he just threw the frying pan
at the ground,
and then a pancake that magically appeared because it hasn't been mentioned before. Okay, flipped high in the air and he caught it with his bare hand. Which is so much easier than catching it with a frying pan, by the way, but whatever.
I mean, yes.
But all of that Vin Diesel did. Like, not... Stefan Hensler had nothing to do with that. He was just sitting there and trembling, I guess.
Also, while all of this happened, I assume that Danny Trejo was still laying on the ground, kind of sort of trembling from being yelled at with the plot of the movie. Yeah.
I also kind of feel like we ended a completely different story than the one that started. I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere in there, like I think with the inclusion of Stefan Hensler, it got a little turnaround there. I don't know. Like I can tell you guys what my vision of this was. I wanted basically to have this like epic, like almost anime-esque fight scene where Vin Diesel and Danny Trejo just like beat at each other while Vin Diesel angrily explains the entire plot of the movie that he's going to make to him because he came late from lunch and is also the director and leading actor of Fast and the Furious at this point. And then to have ChatGPT sprinkle in like gifs from the crew that it just like listed and then somewhere in the middle, like, oh yeah, and there's like Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson and Michelle Rodriguez and they're all like standing there. So that was a little bit disappointing.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Stefan Hensler was supposed to drift into the crew, hit one of them,
ChatGPT,
and then get thrown off set by Vin Diesel because of it, and like beg for his life and for his role while Vin Diesel drags him out of the fucking studio lot.
Okay, that is where it all went awry, because what? No, I mean, also ended completely differently because he was basically welcome to the family now after the pancake initiation. How did the frying pan get into the whole thing? Did you even mention that, or is it just because he's a chef?
Just because he's a chef, yeah.
Okay.
You know it.
I mean, very creative of ChatGPT. I wouldn't have guessed.
And I also let ChatGPT come up with the plot and the stunts, of course.
And the title?
No, the title I gave it.
Okay.
I couldn't let it fuck around with the title. That's too important.
I mean, I get that.
But yeah, I was actually pretty impressed by the stunts it like came up with. At least the first one was.
The first one was very
pretty good,
on point for
and I guess
plot.
the second one could have worked, but just not for the same plot necessarily.
You don't know that. They might start. They have to start somewhere. They might start in the Sahara Desert. You have no idea what they do.
I guess so. Yeah.
Also, the device that they steal can change weather, so the tornado makes more sense, I guess. Yeah. And it makes more sense to have weather on Earth than in space.
No, I mean, I assume that it's two teams, right? One team goes to the ISS with the fucking rocket launcher car or whatever and parachutes out of the car into the ISS. I don't know, like, I'm not going to ask any questions about how that's supposed to work.
Tom Cruise will explain later.
I should have let Tom Cruise play into this one too. And while that's happening, the other crew, like the B team, is in the Sahara Desert going in front of the tornado until the A team retrieves the device and then somehow like does something with the tornado, either like stops it or puts it somewhere else. I don't know what they're supposed to do with it at this point, but yeah, something like that, like very thrilling cut back and forth type action finale deal.
Yes.
As creative director, writer, actor, and other editor, whatever you want, Vin Diesel would have wanted it.
Yes. Great. That's great. Also, just wild because I think what you were trying to, like, were you trying to have them all on set for a movie that they all don't know about? Or were you trying to have them like in a meeting for a movie that they're gonna make, but they haven't heard of it yet?
I pretty much wanted them all on set for this movie that like this very eccentric Vin Diesel is just basically forcing them to make kind of sort of, I don't know, and just like coming up with the plot as he goes and screaming it at them. Because that's how I feel most of the Fast and the Furious movies are made these days, and I wanted to capture that essence.
That's great. I'm sorry, I zoned out because I keep staring at the scene with the frying pan. That's just... I also love how that's like an initiation rite kind of thing, where it's like...
Which is so weird because like...
we all had to go through it, okay? He had to throw a frying pan next to the ground, next to us on the ground or something like that, and then there was a pancake flip, and if it didn't work, then you're out or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially since there's like sort of this initiation thing in the Fast and the Furious movies where they all have like dinner or lunch together or whatever, and whoever eats first has to say the prayer because of fucking Vin Diesel's prayer rule or whatever, and everybody gets to do that at some point during the movies or something. And I feel like if they want to do something like that, why not use that? But I guess ChatGPT couldn't have that. I don't know.
Okay, so
generally,
I will
lightly disappointed, wildly confused is my statement to this.
It took such a wild turn. I mean, even the beginning was weird, but then it took like this wild Stefan Hensler turn where it all kind of just went sideways. It was just like very, very weird. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, that's...
Or 6.5 out of 10, because it is
fair.
it's actually pretty funny.
It's pretty coherent for me, basically
and
giving
so
it
long.
Not much direction.
It's so long. But yeah, that's how I would rate it.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah. Okay, so here goes it. Nothing. Story number 2.
Oh wait, it has a title.
Hollywood jealousy. Story number 2. Hollywood jealousy. Dalton's stardom. I love it already. Once upon a time, in the wild world of Hollywood, the infamous Dalton brothers, Joe, William, Jack, and Averill, had decided to take a break from their life of crime. They had grown tired of endless gunfights with Lucky Luke and being constantly thrown behind bars. Instead, they had a new dream, to become movie stars. With their dreams packed in a suitcase and their trusty masks safely tucked away, they headed to Tinseltown with high hopes. They believed that their natural talent of mischief and mayhem would translate well into the world of acting. Sorry. Little did they know that Hollywood had a few lessons in store for them. The Daltons went to every casting they could find, dressed as cowboys, gangsters, and even occasionally aliens. However, each audition ended in rejection. The casting directors would shake their heads and mutter, "You need to be more individual, boys. Everybody here is looking for something unique." Dismayed and confused, the Daltons sat in a coffee shop one day, contemplating their dismal prospects. Just then, a familiar face walked in. It was none other than Joey Tribbiani from the sitcom Friends. He spotted the Dalton brothers and decided to join them at their table. Joey, a seasoned actor with questionable reputation for his acting skills, looked at the Daltons and said, "Hey, I could help you to know..."
What? That's not how you talk.
I know.
Also, this is not what text says.
Joey, a seasoned actor with questionable reputation for his acting skills, looked at the Daltons and said, "Hey, I could help you notice you..." I couldn't read because that's too hard.
Also very much Joey.
Joey, a seasoned actor with questionable reputation for his acting skills, looked at the Daltons and said, "Hey, I couldn't help but notice you guys. Look like you need some help. I'm Joey Tribbiani, and I've been acting for years. I know a thing or two about the showbiz. The Daltons' eyes lit up with excitement. You can help us? We want to be big stars, Joey said.
Joe.
Well, I guess. Joe.
Now it's gonna be confusing because you have Joe and Joey. Never mind.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. Joey nodded sagely and leaned in, offering his advice. Okay, guys, listen carefully. The key to acting is all about being dramatic. You gotta be really over the top, like this. Joey stood up and began overacting, gesturing and shouting. How you doing? The Daltons watched in awe, convinced that Joey was a true Hollywood guru. They mimicked him with even more enthusiasm. Avril, in particular, threw himself into it and exclaimed, How you doing? With such passion that it left everyone in the coffee shop bewildered.
Yeah, it would also leave me bewildered. I was just trying to have your fucking coffee at your fucking Starbucks. And these people... also all dressed the same.
All dressed as differently sized aliens because of their latest fucking... Casting, yes. Joey continued. And remember, always make exaggerated facial expressions. People love that. He put a variety of comical features, each more bizarre than the last. The Daltons eagerly followed suit, their faces contouring into bizarre medley of expressions that would have made Picasso proud. Okay. Days turned into weeks, once again.
Always.
And the Daltons took Joey's acting advice to heart. They practiced their lines with theatrics, exaggerated gestures, and absurd facial expressions, much to the amusement of anyone who witnessed their auditions. Surprisingly, Avril, who had taken the advice to heart more than his brothers, started landing leading roles. His over-the-top style of acting was seen as fresh and unique. Was seen as a fresh and unique approach in the eyes of casting directors. Reading is hard. The other Daltons were left with nothing but supporting roles, and they couldn't hide their jealousy. They watched Avril bask in the spotlight while they played the background characters, seething with envy. One day, during a lunch break, Joe approached Avril and whispered, Avril, we've got to talk about your success. It's tearing us apart.
Tearing us apart. That was
tearing us apart. Oh, hi, Mark. Avril looked puzzled. Success? Oh, you mean my new talent? He exclaimed with a dramatic flair. I've always known I was a star. Joe sighed, realizing there was no reasoning with his brother. Never mind. Let's just be supportive.
Doesn't sound like him.
The Daltons continued their acting journey in Hollywood. While Avril became a renowned and eccentric leading man, his brothers embraced their roles as quirky supporting actors. They might not have achieved the fame they originally sought, but their misadventures in the world of acting provided plenty of comic relief, and the audience loved them for it. Okay, okay.
Documentary about their life, I don't know.
I guess. In the end, it turned out that Joey Tribbiani's advice had been a blessing in disguise. The Daltons had found their unique niche in Hollywood, and they were very content with that. After all, in a town filled with stars, there was always room for a few unforgettable sidekicks. Okay. I see how you mean that you went into a different direction, and I fucking loved it, actually.
There was this whole Hollywood thing that I was thinking about, like, someone going to Hollywood and wanting to be a star and, like, wanting to be famous.
The
and
Hollywood
actor.
dream.
Yeah, the Hollywood dream, yeah. That was my... And then I just needed to find someone who would actually go there and follow that dream.
And I think you've found the perfect cast to do that.
Yeah, actually, only reason that I found them was when we discussed the second topic. You will know more about that in the next episode.
Turn in next week to see what shenanigans will be going on.
It's not next week, it's in 2 weeks, but whatever, next time.
We'll cut that.
You never do.
No, yes, I fucking love that Joey Tribbiani is giving them acting advice, and I fucking love that he and Avril bond over their connection. How you doing?
I did not tell ChatGPT any of that. I actually gave very little direction.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can enlighten us what your vision of this was.
It was actually very brief this time because I wanted to see what ChatGPT would do with it. I just said the Daltons, I would actually pronounce it, go to Hollywood because they want to be actors and famous, and they always get rejected. And then at one audition, they meet Joey. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. And he sees that they get rejected, and he tells them that they need to be more individual because they're all the same. Obviously, all 4 of them look exactly the same, just one taller than the other and always staggered, obviously. And then he started giving them advice. Obviously, Joey's not a great actor, as we all know. But the Daltons don't know that, so they think he's like...
The guy
to... Like, finally someone is helping them. And they all do what he tells them to do. But none of them is successful. Only Avril, for no fucking reason at all.
Just because he has the body type to be the goofy, exaggerated guy.
Yes, and then I just told ChatGPT to end it on a humorous note, and yeah, it did.
Not
that. Yeah, it wasn't really.
Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, it was kind of on point for a lot of things where he was like, there's no reasoning with you, but not because he's so stubborn, just because he's so dumb.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously Joe would never he would just throw a fucking temper tantrum and just tear the whole thing apart.
Choke Avril out.
And I probably should have just said something like they finally go back to jail or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, it would have been pretty funny if they got caught in the end. But maybe
I should have included Rantan Plan. Right now I'm thinking of that.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, that would have been so good. Okay.
This might be another one for the sequels for episodes we already did. Episode that we might eventually do sometime.
Yes, if anyone is interested in that, please let us know.
But I also love how I see that you didn't give ChatGPT the coffee shop, and it just basically took Central Park from New York and put it right across the street in Hollywood. So that was cute.
Also, like all the details about the Daltons in the very beginning. It's just ChatGPT doing it. Like they were tired of always being sent behind bars and having gunfights with Lucky Luke. And
I get that.
Yeah,
that sounds stressful.
So, yeah.
No, beautiful stuff. I love it. I can't wait for eventual part 2, where Joey Tribbiani gets to adopt Rantan Plan, and he finally has an owner that's on level with him.
Yeah, or something where Rantan Plan is just getting a leading role in a movie instead of Joey or Avril or any other of the Daltons. I don't know. We'll see about that.
Yes.
You gotta rate it.
Oh, true. I almost forgot. No, I'd definitely give it like at least like an 8 or 8.5 out of 10.
I think 8 is fine.
Yeah.
I think it could have been a little like more interesting in the end. Like the ending was a little...
Yeah, if it was maybe like a little bit longer and had a little bit more of their shenanigans at casting, or had like a nice bow tie ending where they like where they get cast as some fucking jailbreakers in like a Western movie, and it turns out that the casting director is Lucky Luke, and then they just get shipped to fucking jail from there.
So
something like that. Then I definitely would have given it like a 9 or something, but it's plenty great as it is, because I just love me some Dalton content everywhere or anywhere I go.
That was it. Our 2 stories for today. Thank you so much for listening.
And if you want to get cast and take some of the scenes of today for your casting tape, feel free. And if that doesn't work out, come back next time, because we have more plot at home.